You can't make peace when someone has been so nefarious in my.
It hardened me a little bit, made me accept that I'm not in control, and that we could die at any time. It's just that I've secured my son Sylvester Stallone and Jaguar Wright. For starters, who would have thought that these two celebrities' names would be mentioned in the same bracket? They don't even belong to the same industry. You can't make peace when someone has been so nefarious, in my opinion. Who were these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is you, and the boss is boss. Celebrity actor Sylvester Stallone's Rocky film franchise is the embodiment of 1980s Hollywood. It feels strange to mention Wright's and Stallone's names in the same sentence because Wright is a singer who has done a few things here and there but doesn't have the same prominence and weight as Stallone. Well, it turns out they have one thing in common exposing the ills in the entertainment industry is the humanity real, is that a real thing, I mean, you can give it the name you want to give it, I call it. You see, Jag started this thing a while back, but was dismissed as a mental patient. And her statements were ridiculed, however. It appears many celebrities are beginning to see the light and are joining hands with the singer to direct that light onto the dark parts of Hollywood. One of such celebrities is Sylvester Stallone, once the darling boy of Hollywood. The iconic actor recently stoked the flames when he co-signed Jaguar Wright on The Evil in the Industry. Many were surprised, especially coming from a cool, calm, and collected idol such as Stallone. Just when everyone was skeptical about the whole issue, 50 Cent also threw in his hat, endorsing Jag's statements. The endorsements from the CBS have divided the internet, with some fans praising Stallone in particular for his bravery, while others feel that he has ventured to cuckoo land. So what did Stallone and 50 Cent say that has got the internet buzzing? Let's get right into it. You can't make peace when someone has been so nefarious. Since the success of the Rocky franchise in the 80s and 90s, Stallone and the producer of the series, Irwin Winkler, have not seen eye to eye. The reason, well, they can't just seem to agree on who actually owns the franchise. The two have been at each other's necks, trading words at the slightest provocation. During their almost 3 dead beef, Stallone's criticism of Irwin Winkler has been limited to calling him a charlatan and a sinister individual. However, it seems that he has recently broadened his attacks to include the industry as a whole, denouncing it as a blood sport. He has criticized the elites, likening them to a pack of blood who rob other industry participants of their vitality, believing that they merely use anyone to line their own coffers and advance their own agendas in Hollywood, using himself as an example. For most fans, Stallone's assertion that he had no rights to Rocky was somewhat shocking. I mean, when we think about Rocky, the first image that comes to mind is a bloodied Stallone alone on the canvas of a boxing ring fighting for his life. However, from the look of things, Sly won't have any legacy from the movie franchise to leave for his wife and children, beautiful wife. When I'm long gone, this is what I made this part of my legacy. That's never going to happen, he explained, that he currently had to beg Irwin Winkler for whatever he needed to do with any character or any plot of the movie. Meanwhile, he wrote and created all the characters by himself, including the Creed character that Wake and his children have metamorphosed into its own franchise, according to the Expendables actor. He didn't know how Irving Winkler put him in that position because he thought the whole thing was going to the studios. But as it turned out, Irving maneuvered his way to get the full rights to the movie with the support of some elites in the industry. Thus, he has to ask permission from Irving Winkler if he ever decides to produce a spin-off from the Rocky franchise with any of the characters in the movie. The studio owns it. How he got that, I don't know, which means I have to beg him that, can I do this? Can I do that? Stallone feels that the industry elite aren't being fair to him, handing everything over to his nemesis, Without giving him a penny, though he didn't say it publicly, many sources claim that the iconic actor thinks that Winkler did something shady to get the deal. He's now beginning to think that the Illuminati that the likes of Jaguar Wright and Cat Williams have been talking about is true without hesitation. Stallone explains how he lost his most valued legacy. Perhaps at some point during his feud with the actor, Winkler gave in to pressure and obtained the rights to the film. However, Stallone stated in an interview that obtaining the rights was never going to happen, so pursuing legal action would be futile if this wasn't the work of a covered organization. That's not all. Recently, Stallone went all out against Hollywood for using one of his iconic characters, Drago, calling the decision horrible, in my opinion. Winkler and his sons had announced that they were producing a new franchise for Drago, one of Rocky's many NEs. The news didn't sit well with Sylvester Stallone, who shared a few screenshots of the announcement on Instagram to express his disapproval. Once again, without even telling me, Irwin Winkler, this pitiful 94-year-old producer, and his stupid vulture kids, Charles and David, are picking apart another amazing character I created. He later apologized to the fans for his remarks, but he had some harsh words for his longtime friend Dolph Lundgren, who would be playing Drago in the franchise. I expressed my regret to the fans, since I never intended for these parasites to take advantage of Rocky characters. I used to have the utmost regard for Dolph, but he never disclosed to me what was happening behind my back with a character I wrote for him, Stallone continued. True friends are worth more than $1 million, says Stallone. Thereafter launched a barrage of assaults against Irwin Winkler and his family, referring to them as blood after Arwin Winkler and family, after publishing this message. Rocky Dry, who is thought to be the most despised, untalented, ill, and decaying producer in Hollywood, stated that his cowardly kids had discovered their next meal. Drago returned my right's blood. He then shifted his focus from Irwin Winkler and his sons to the Illuminati, calling them parasites and a bloc that only cared about lining their pockets at the expense of many souls in Hollywood throughout history. He called them parasites and bloc who have destroyed so many lives, ruining so many artists in every industry, recording, painting, writing, you name it. And they have destroyed so many families by lining their pockets with other people. He then questioned his longtime friend Lurin about his alleged betrayal, asking Dolph why he hadn't made a phone call. Hashtag parasitic creators, hashtag victims who are exploited artists Jaguar Wright has reportedly been claiming for years that the Illuminati rules the world like gods and takes advantage of people because they all aspire to be gods. According to Wright, the Illuminati only supports those who join their club and commit dark and evil deeds in order to appease the elite. These individuals always receive the largest share of the cake and all the fame and glory that Hollywood has to offer, while those who refuse to bend over are frequently left on the periphery of the business, scrambling for scraps that fall from the table of the powerful. According to Jag, the wealthy were ruining the business and the lives of those who depended on it. She has actually exposed a few of the people she considers to be elite and has suffered for it recently. She was arrested and sent to jail before she was released with many of her fans, thinking that the elites had finally gotten through to her. I literally had handcuffs put on me wait that morning while we were at the front desk, showing the attendant that he was stalking us. And the hotel Live Online, however, she only spent about 30 hours before she was freed on his bond. And since then, she has come out swinging. She's done a series of interviews where she delved into the issues surrounding Jay-Z and Diddy, which many fans find eye-opening. Interestingly, Sylvester Stallone,